personally, over the past 5, 10 years, I've actually kind of warmed to the idea of like a venture cap reload zone that actually develops between 88.6 and 78.6. Of course, 78.6, that's Brian's favorite fib, line in the sand, we call it in the education program. And my hunch is that down the road, this thing's actually going to form some sort of bottom off of that 78.6 level. And you look back in hindsight, maybe 6, 8 months from now, whatever, and you go, son of a bitch, goddamn thing bottomed right off that 78.6. You don't know how many times I've seen that in my career. I mean, it's more times than I can possibly count. I love this cake. I love a cake and eat it too. Jeez, that looks good. Anyway, Sarah did buy some of that, so I'm glad we did get some of that. That's good. Anyway, STRD, I think that's what you said. Stride, and then versus USD on osmosis. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay, that looks like your chart. Once upon a time in a land far, far away. Of course, Brian's big fan of location, right? So reload zone. All right. Well, we're coming into location. That looks okay. We can throw on indicator confirmations. So remember how I like to sort of frame this trade. And if you're asking, do you think that this thing's a buy? I always start with location, location, location. So since we are at RLZ, I think we can actually say that, all right, location isn't bad. Now, indicator confirmation. Ideally, we'd love to have big fat divs. I don't know whether we got that yet. And then finally, market structure, big fat W would be nice, something along those lines. So where are we on this sort of path? We do have the reload zone. So you're not chasing. I mean, if it's one thing I have to teach people every single cycle is don't chase, right? So good thing you're not showing me a chart that's going straight up. You're showing me a chart that's come down. Now, remember, usually these bear markets last about 18 months. Looks like they actually took this thing up to a new high here back just what is that? That's just in the winter. Maybe just say, well, this is the whole bear market. We're going through the process of cleaning this thing up, which would be pretty much about not even a year ago, right? Because this is just basically 1 year. So I would say at the very best, this is a trading range of the market trying to figure out what the hell's the bottom. So top of the range, bottom end of the range, and it's just oscillating back and forth. Ideally, you'd like to try and get yourself a double. So at 88 cents, double is basically somewhere up in that 170 area, which isn't unrealistic. I would say I usually like to just use things like 50% rules as profit objectives. So, and actually, I might even go off of just whatever this recent low is. So 50% level is, well, yeah, it's right around that double level. So it's doable to get that double. If you can get the double, then sell half on a double, gets a risk-free trade, and then it doesn't matter what happens following. Got one potential div here. Do we actually have indicator confirmation that this thing is turned up? I don't think so. I think we're still waiting for the indicators to tell you that, yeah, this thing's actually stronger than what it looks like. So we pull up the chart and you can see new M's in MACD here and lower highs and lower lows. Can't really get bullish of this thing until we actually start to see higher highs and higher lows. And you can see this MACD is just slowly lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So there is no divergence here yet. So that's about as far as you are. We can't even really take the conversation any further. We are just simply waiting for the internals of the market to turn back up. That says that we're ready to start hunting structure, and we just don't have that yet. So you just got to cool your jets. You can see, if we were listening to our Julian, talk about RSI, he'd probably draw down trend lines along something along those lines, which is pretty straightforward. That's not rocket science, right? And hopefully you can see lower highs and lower lows, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher, low high. That's good, but oh Jesus, lower low. There's nothing to do here. If anything, kind of like my conversation with you guys about trend lines, what I would want to see here is where is it? That one. Get up through here, then show me structure, and away we go. Right? Maybe that starts a new uptrend. There's nothing to do here now, folks. It's just big hurry up and do nothing. I mean, yes, it is technically in a reload zone. If anything, with regard to things like crypto and especially sort of the lower tier of crypto, I personally, over the past 5-10 years, I've actually kind of warmed to the idea of like a venture cap reload zone that actually develops between 88.6 and 78.6. Of course, 78.6, that's Brian's favorite fib, line in the sand, we call it in the education program. And my hunch is that down the road, this thing's actually going to form some sort of bottom off of that 78.6 level. And you look back in hindsight, maybe 6-8 months from now, whatever, and you go, son of a bitch, goddamn thing bottomed right off that 78.6. You don't know how many times I've seen that in my career. I mean, it's more times than I can possibly count. It's ridiculous how often that happens. So right there, would I even be the slightest bit interested in buying this thing? Not really. There's lower highs and lower lows, no momentum divs, and kind of an iffy trade location. I mean, yeah, we are a reload zone, but I think, and especially with names like this, I would much prefer that you actually hunt the vent. We'll call this and actually, probably a good idea to update this in the school program, but we'll call this the VC RLZ because that actually I think is more appropriate given this market. So meh, you know what? If anything, I'm gonna say trade location. Maybe we'll even just go meh. Not really yes, not really no, but meh. Maybe we'll do this like orange or something. And then since and then we can't really even go any further. So that's unfortunately where I think we are. And if you can't even get beyond like indicator confirmation screens, then you can't even think about market structure. We're just not even there yet.